Have you ever stopped and wondered, what is the real purpose of my life? Why do we spend so much time chasing after happiness, only to find that it slips through our fingers? What if the key to living a fulfilled life wasn't about striving to achieve more, but about experiencing the present moment fully? Hello, and welcome back to Son.Mindfulness. I'm so glad you're here today. Take a moment to reflect. Do you often feel like you're running on a hamster wheel, constantly chasing after success, love, or pleasure, but never quite feeling satisfied? In today's video, we're diving into something deeply important: the purpose of life and how we can break free from the constant cycle of chasing and avoiding. This is a question that affects all of us. With so much of our time spent trying to achieve external goals, we often forget to ask the most fundamental question: what truly matters? Life can feel like an endless pursuit of something: happiness, success, or even just peace of mind. But what if the secret to a meaningful life is simpler than we think? What if it's all about living with awareness and presence in each moment? Here at Son.Mindfulness, we believe that life isn't about conquering everything. It's about truly living in every moment. And that's exactly what we'll be talking about today. We'll explore the Buddhist perspective on how to live with intention and presence, free from the cycle of chasing and avoiding. This way of living doesn't just bring peace. It helps you appreciate the present, accept life's changes, and let go of unnecessary struggles. Doesn't that sound like a life worth living? I'm excited for you to join us on this journey. By the end of this video, you'll understand how small shifts in your mindset and daily actions can lead to a life of balance, peace, and true fulfillment. So stick around, because what we have to share could change the way you approach life forever. Don't forget to subscribe to Son.Mindfulness for more valuable insights. We're here to guide you on a journey of mindfulness, helping you live fully and consciously every single day. Stay with us, and let's dive into today's topic. What is the purpose of life, and how can we live with intention and awareness? Part 1. A question that unlocks the door. Have you ever found yourself sitting quietly, perhaps in the middle of an ordinary day, and suddenly a thought crosses your mind that you can't quite shake? It's not loud or dramatic. It's not tied to a specific event, but there it is, like a whisper. What is this all for? What's the purpose of my life? I've felt it too. In the middle of doing something simple, maybe folding laundry or taking a walk, this quiet question enters my mind. I'm not looking for answers right then. I don't need a clear solution, but it stays with me. The question itself seems to be doing something far more significant than merely demanding an answer. Have you ever had that feeling? It's as if this question is awakening something inside you. It's a quiet stirring, not a crisis, but a call to something deeper. It's as if a part of your mind is saying, I don't just want surface answers anymore. No more just be happy or just do your best. Something inside of you has outgrown that level of understanding. And that, my friend, is the beginning of real awareness. Consider the famous story from the Buddhist texts. It says that being born as a human is as rare as this. Imagine a blind turtle living at the bottom of the ocean. Once every 100 years, the turtle surfaces. Floating on the water's surface is a small wooden ring. The chance that the turtle's head will rise through the ring, that's the chance of being born a human. This isn't meant to make you feel pressured or guilty. It's simply a reminder that human life, your life, is rare. Not because it's perfect, but because you, as a human, are able to ask such questions. You can wonder, what is the purpose of all this? You can think about things deeply and challenge the status quo. That, right there, is a rare gift. Let me share a personal example with you. Years ago, I was struggling with an overwhelming sense of dissatisfaction. It wasn't about my job or my relationships or anything external. It was a deeper internal feeling that something was missing. And then one day, out of nowhere, I asked myself, what's the point of all this? At first, it felt like a heavy question. I thought I needed an answer right away. But after sitting with that question, I realized something important. The question itself was enough. It had unlocked something inside me. Instead of trying to answer it immediately, I allowed myself to just feel the question. I didn't rush for a solution. I let it create space in my mind, a space where deeper understanding could begin to grow. This is the very beginning of wisdom, the moment when you stop searching for quick fixes or easy answers. You allow the question to settle within you and start to work its magic. Have you ever experienced that shift? That moment when you stop just searching for answers and instead start embracing the question itself? It's a powerful shift, and it's the first step toward true understanding. But why does this happen? Why do we as humans have the capacity to question life's purpose? What's so special about us being able to ask these profound questions? It's this very rarity of human life that makes this questioning so important. And when we awaken to it, we realize that it's not about finding an immediate answer. It's about becoming aware of something much deeper. This rare ability to ask such questions, this is the beginning of your journey toward wisdom. And the journey doesn't end with an answer. It begins with the question. Now this brings us to a deeper realization. If life is so rare and precious, what makes it truly special? And how do we appreciate it in its full depth? This takes us to the next part of the journey, the rarity of being here. Let's dive deeper into that together. Part 2, Rarity of Being Here. Have you ever stopped to consider just how rare and precious it is to be alive? Not just to be alive in a physical sense, but to be a human with the capacity to ask deep, life-defining questions. Think about it. In the Buddhist tradition, there's a story that highlights just how extraordinary human life is. It tells of a blind turtle that lives at the bottom of the ocean. Once every 100 years, the turtle surfaces for air, and floating on the water is a small wooden ring, just big enough for the turtle's head to pass through. The chance that the turtle will surface and find the ring, and then have its head pass through it, is incredibly slim. The Buddha used this story to illustrate the rarity of being born as a human. He said that the chances of being born human are as unlikely as the blind turtle finding that small ring. It's a story that reminds us of how special and rare our existence truly is. If you are alive right now, if you have the ability to think deeply, to wonder, to ask the big questions, you are among the fortunate few. But why is it so rare? Why is it that we as humans are capable of asking questions like, what is the purpose of life? The answer lies in the unique nature of human consciousness. We have the capacity for self-awareness, to reflect on our existence, and to seek meaning in the world around us. Not every living being has this gift. Imagine the countless creatures that have lived and died without ever contemplating the meaning of their existence. They go through their days following instinct without the inner dialogue we experience. But humans, we can question. We can search for purpose. And that is something extraordinary. This ability to ask, why am I here? Is there a deeper purpose to my life? These questions are a rare gift, and they allow us to connect to something beyond our immediate surroundings. They give us the chance to look inward, to reflect, and to grow. Most beings live and die without ever touching on these profound thoughts. But you have the opportunity to ask, to explore, to wonder. Now, this isn't about making you feel small or insignificant. Quite the opposite. This is about recognizing how extraordinary your life is. You're here. You're able to ask these questions. And that alone makes your life rare and valuable. You may wonder, why is this important? It's important because it shows us how precious the opportunity to live fully really is. It's easy to take our lives for granted, to get lost in the routines, the struggles, and the distractions of daily life. But when you pause and consider the rarity of this life, it can shift your perspective entirely. You realize that every moment, every breath is a unique gift. And with that realization comes a sense of responsibility, a responsibility to live with awareness, with purpose. If this life is so rare, what should we do with it? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. And as we begin to look for answers, we come to an important realization. Most of us live between two extremes. We chase after pleasure, success, and happiness, while avoiding pain, loss, and fear. This chase, this constant movement between extremes, can keep us trapped in a cycle that prevents us from fully appreciating life. This leads us to the next part of our journey, the chasing and avoidance trap. Let's explore how we often get caught in this cycle and how to break free. Part 3. The chasing and avoidance trap. Have you ever felt like you're running a race you can't seem to win? Chasing happiness, success, and pleasure, only to find that they slip through your fingers the moment you think you've got them. And then, when you experience pain, discomfort, or loss, you do everything you can to avoid it, running, hiding, distracting yourself. Yet, the moment you stop running, it returns. This constant back and forth between chasing what feels good and avoiding what feels bad is a cycle many of us find ourselves in. And it can be exhausting. It's what psychologists call the hedonic treadmill. The idea that no matter how much we achieve, gain, or experience, we end up returning to the same baseline level of happiness or dissatisfaction. You get a new job, and at first it feels incredible. But after a while, that excitement fades, and you find yourself wanting something more. You get a new car, but soon enough, it's just another part of your routine. The joy that comes with the newness dissipates, and you're back to seeking the next thrill. It's a cycle that seems endless. And it's not just about material things. We chase love, recognition, comfort, and success, believing that if we can just have these things, we'll feel truly fulfilled. But the joy we experience from these things is often short-lived. Even in our relationships, we sometimes find ourselves seeking the next high. Always looking for something more, something better. And in the meantime, we try to avoid the pain that comes with loss, failure, or fear. This cycle creates a sense of stagnation. We think that by constantly pursuing pleasure and running from pain, we'll find fulfillment. But in reality, we only find ourselves stuck in a loop, constantly chasing, constantly running, but never truly arriving. This is what the Buddha referred to as dukkha, often translated as suffering. But it's not just about physical pain or obvious hardship. It's a deeper sense of unease, a quiet dissatisfaction that lingers even when everything seems fine. It's the feeling of always wanting more, of never being satisfied, of always needing to be somewhere else, doing something else to be truly happy. So why does this happen? Why do we get stuck in this cycle? The answer lies in how we relate to our desires. We think that happiness is something we can own, that we can possess it, make it last forever. But happiness, like all experiences, is fleeting. It comes and it goes. And when we try to grasp it, to hold on to it, we only create tension and dissatisfaction. Similarly, when we resist pain or discomfort, we make it stronger. The more we try to run from something, the more it follows us. Now, imagine what happens if we simply stop running. If we stop chasing, stop avoiding, and instead, just allow life to unfold as it is. What would happen if we embraced both the happiness and the pain without attaching ourselves to either? What if we could simply be with whatever arises, joy or sorrow, without clinging or pushing it away? This is where true freedom lies. And this brings us to the next important step in our journey. Noticing the trap, the first step out. Let's explore how becoming aware of this cycle is the first key to breaking free. Part 4. Noticing the trap equals the first step out. Have you ever been stuck in a pattern, not knowing how to escape, until one day you suddenly realized what was happening? It's like being on a merry-go-round, spinning faster and faster until you step off and notice the ground beneath your feet. This moment of awareness is the first step toward breaking free from the cycles of chasing and avoiding. You see, the first thing we need to do is notice the trap. Recognizing that we're caught in a pattern of behavior is the beginning of change. It's the moment we stop reacting automatically and start paying attention to how we're thinking, feeling, and acting. For example, I once had a habit of constantly checking my phone, emails, social media, news updates. At first, it didn't feel harmful. I told myself it was just part of staying connected and being informed. But one day, I realized that each time I checked my phone, I wasn't really living in the moment. I wasn't present. I was chasing small bursts of dopamine, thinking that a new notification would bring me happiness. But in reality, it was just distracting me from the real moments of my life. I noticed this pattern, this cycle of seeking and avoiding, and it made me pause. When I stopped to reflect, I saw how often I was chasing small pleasures, thinking that they would give me meaning or fulfillment. But when I stopped and really looked at my behavior, I realized that these little distractions only increased my sense of restlessness. The more I looked for comfort in the outside world, the more unsettled I became inside. It was a pattern, a cycle I had been caught in without even realizing it. And in that moment of awareness, I knew something had to change. I didn't immediately stop using my phone or social media, but I began to change my relationship with them. Instead of mindlessly scrolling, I started noticing how I felt before and after I checked my phone. Was I truly interested in what I was seeing, or was I just trying to escape the quiet of my own thoughts? Was the pursuit of external stimulation really satisfying me, or was it just keeping me from being present in my own life? This small shift in awareness made a huge difference. I began to feel more in control of my time and my attention. And when I felt that familiar urge to check my phone, I could pause, notice the impulse, and make a conscious choice. Rather than reacting automatically, I started to choose my actions. And in doing so, the cycle of seeking and avoiding started to lose its grip on me. This is how noticing the trap begins to break the cycle. It's not about eliminating all desires or distractions. It's about becoming aware of them, seeing them for what they are, and realizing that they don't control us. When we notice the patterns in our thinking and behavior, we start to see that we have the power to step off the merry-go-round. We don't have to keep chasing after fleeting pleasures or avoiding uncomfortable emotions. We can just be present with what is, without trying to escape. Now, this doesn't mean life gets easy. The cycle may come back, and we may be drawn into it again. But each time we notice it, we take another step toward freedom. Each time we choose awareness over automatic reaction, we weaken the hold of the cycle. As we begin to notice the traps we've been caught in, we also begin to understand that our actions have consequences. And that brings us to something important. Death isn't the finish line. Let's explore how understanding this truth can shift the way we live our lives. Part 5. Death isn't the finish line. Have you ever thought of death as a final ending, a complete stop? Many of us view death in this way, as a hard line that ends our story, a clean break from this life. But in Buddhism, death is not an end. It's a transition, a turning of the page in the book of existence. The end of one chapter doesn't mean the story is over. It simply means the story continues in a different form, and our actions, our choices, ripple through this ongoing process. In Buddhism, there's a deep understanding of karma, the law of cause and effect. Every action we take, every thought we have, every word we speak sends ripples out into the world. These ripples don't stop when we die. Instead, they continue, influencing the future in ways we may not even see. Our actions today create consequences not only for ourselves but for others and for what comes next in our journey. Think of karma as the energy that flows from us. It's like throwing a stone into a still lake. The stone creates ripples that travel far and wide, even after the stone has sunk to the bottom. In the same way, our actions, no matter how small, continue to shape the world long after we're gone. The Buddha taught that nothing in life exists independently. Our actions, our intentions, and our relationships are all interconnected, creating an ongoing flow of causes and effects. In this way, death is not the end of the story. It's merely the next step in a process of continuous change. Many religions speak of an eternal soul that lives forever, either in heaven or hell, depending on one's actions in life. But Buddhism teaches something different. There is no unchanging, permanent soul that carries on after death. Instead, there's a stream of consciousness, an ongoing process shaped by the choices we make. This stream doesn't vanish when the body dies. It continues, but it's not you who continues. It's the result of everything you have done, thought, and felt, the consequences of your actions, your karma. Like a flame passed from one candle to another, the flame continues. But it's not the same flame. It's not a copy. It's not a new flame either. It's simply a continuation, carrying forward the energy of what has come before. In a way, this understanding of death brings a sense of freedom. If death isn't the end, but a transition, then we can approach life differently. We can live with a deeper understanding that our actions have long-lasting effects, not just for us, but for the world around us. When we begin to see death as a transition, not an end, we start to see the importance of living intentionally. We begin to understand that how we live, how we act, and how we treat others matters, not just in this life, but in the lives that follow. So death is not something to fear, but something to understand. It's not a finish line. It's a doorway leading to the next chapter, where the ripples of our actions continue. And with this understanding, we begin to live in a way that shapes not only our future, but the future of everyone around us. Now, as we explore this deeper understanding of life and death, we realize that there's no permanent, fixed self that carries on. Instead, life is a flow, a process. This brings us to the next important insight: no fixed you, just a flow of moments. Let's dive deeper into this fascinating idea. Part 6: No fixed you, just a flow of moments. Have you ever thought about who you really are? What makes you you? Is it the thoughts you have, the choices you make, or the experiences you've lived through? If you look closely, you might notice that everything about you is always changing. Your body, your mind, your emotions, nothing stays the same for long. In Buddhism, this concept is known as the absence of a fixed self. It means that there is no permanent, unchanging you hidden somewhere inside. Instead, life is a continuous flow, constantly changing, evolving, and unfolding. Think about it for a moment. Just like a river, you cannot step into the same water twice. The water that flowed past you a second ago is already gone. It's been replaced by new water, and that water too will soon flow away. In the same way, the you that you identify with is constantly changing. Your thoughts, your emotions, even your physical body are in a constant state of flux. One of the best ways to understand this concept is through the analogy of a flame. Imagine you have a candle. You light it, and the flame burns brightly. Now, take another candle and light it from the first one. The flame continues, but it's not the same flame as the one on the first candle. The energy is transferred, but the flame is not exactly the same. It's a continuation, not a copy. This is how life works. We are not fixed, static beings with a permanent self. Instead, we are a flow of moments, one leading into the next. We are constantly becoming, constantly changing. There is no me or you that remains the same for even a moment. The you of today is not the same as the you of yesterday, and the you of tomorrow will not be the same as the you of today. The Buddha taught that this is one of the key insights into understanding life and the nature of suffering. When we cling to the idea of a fixed, permanent self, we cause ourselves unnecessary suffering. We become attached to our identities, to our beliefs, and to our ideas of who we are. But when we let go of this attachment, when we understand that we are simply a flow of experiences, we can begin to live with greater freedom and peace. Consider the natural world around you. A tree grows from a seed. The seed is not the same as the fully grown tree, but it carries the same potential, the same essence. The tree may shed its leaves in the fall, but it will grow new ones in the spring. The tree is always changing, but it is still the same tree. In the same way, you are constantly evolving, yet you remain a unique expression of your experiences, your actions, and your choices. Understanding that there is no permanent self doesn't mean that life is meaningless or that we don't matter. On the contrary, it shows us that everything is connected. Everything is part of an ongoing process. Each moment is an opportunity to shape the flow, to make choices that reflect the kind of life we want to create. You are not trapped by the person you were yesterday. You have the power to change, to grow, and to move forward. As we begin to understand this flow, we can start to live more mindfully, with a deeper sense of clarity. We can let go of the need to control and hold on to a fixed self, and instead embrace the ongoing journey of life. This brings us to the next step on our path, living with intention, not out of fear or desire. Let's explore how we can live more intentionally, free from the traps of fear and desire. Part 7. Live with intention, not out of fear or desire. Have you ever noticed how often we make decisions out of fear or desire? We react to life rather than responding thoughtfully. Fear tells us to protect ourselves, to play it safe, to avoid discomfort. Desire pushes us to chase after what we think will make us happy. More success, more possessions, more approval. But living in this way can leave us feeling unfulfilled, trapped, and restless. The real question is, how can we break free from this cycle and live with more intention, with a clear and conscious purpose? Buddhism offers profound guidance on this. The Buddha taught that the key to true happiness and peace lies in finding balance. This balance isn't about denying ourselves pleasure or avoiding discomfort. It's about living consciously, making choices with awareness, and walking the middle path. The middle path isn't about extremes. It's not about pursuing indulgence, chasing pleasure, and living a life of excess. It's also not about suppressing desires, denying ourselves, or seeking to avoid all suffering. It's the path of moderation, where we allow ourselves to enjoy the good things in life without becoming attached to them, and face challenges with calm awareness instead of fear or avoidance. Imagine walking a tightrope. If you lean too far to one side, you'll fall. If you lean too far to the other, you'll lose your balance. The key is to find that sweet spot in the middle, where you remain steady and grounded, no matter what comes your way. This is what the middle path teaches us. Balance in all things, a life that is neither driven by wild desires nor dominated by fear. Living with intention means we stop reacting automatically to our fears and desires. We start to ask ourselves, why am I doing this? What is my true motivation? When we make choices with intention, we begin to live with purpose. Instead of letting fear dictate our actions, we choose to act with clarity. Instead of chasing after fleeting desires, we choose to pursue what truly brings us peace and contentment. One example of living with intention is how we handle our emotions. When we feel anger or frustration rising within us, we can pause. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can choose to take a deep breath and reflect. Why am I feeling this way? What's really driving this emotion? When we ask these questions, we gain insight into our emotions and can make more thoughtful, intentional choices in how we respond. Another example is how we approach our work. Do we work just to earn money or seek approval, driven by fear of failure or the desire for success? Or do we work with intention, driven by a sense of purpose and fulfillment, knowing that our efforts align with our values and goals? Living with intention allows us to embrace life fully without being dragged by fear or desire. It's about knowing who we are, what we value, and making choices that reflect that understanding. This doesn't mean we'll never experience fear or desire. It means we learn to live beyond them, making decisions from a place of clarity and wisdom. As we walk this path of intention, we come to realize something profound. True happiness doesn't come from chasing after fleeting pleasures or avoiding discomfort. It comes from living mindfully, in balance, and with a deep sense of purpose. And that brings us to the next part of our journey. Presence, the heart of real purpose. Let's explore how presence in every moment reveals the true meaning of life. Part 8. Presence, the heart of real purpose. Have you ever experienced a moment so beautiful, so full of life, that you couldn't help but pause and take it all in? Maybe it was the warmth of the sun on your face, or the laughter of a child, or the feeling of a loved one's embrace. In those moments, everything seems to slow down, and for a brief instant, you feel fully present. But why does this matter? Why is being present so important to living a meaningful life? In Buddhism, the concept of presence is at the heart of real purpose. Being fully present in each moment is what allows us to live fully, to experience life deeply, whether in moments of joy or pain. When we are truly present, we engage with life as it is, without distractions or attachments. We experience the world in its purest form, just as it is, without judgment or expectation. Too often, we rush through life, moving from one task to the next, consumed by the future or the past. We are so focused on what's coming next that we forget to savor the moments we are in right now. We live in a constant state of hurry, believing that if we just get through this moment, the next one will bring more happiness, more meaning. But this is where we miss the point. Life is happening now, not in the future. The real purpose of life isn't found in chasing after something that lies ahead. It's found in being present, fully immersed in the experience of each moment. Think of a tree. It stands tall in the forest, rooted deeply in the earth. In the spring, it grows new leaves, and in the fall, it sheds them. It doesn't rush through life wishing for the next season or lamenting the past one. It simply is, fully present in every moment, growing and changing as the seasons unfold. In the same way, we are meant to live with a sense of presence, fully engaged in the world, not constantly looking ahead or behind. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate presence is to slow down. Take a moment to simply breathe, to pause and observe what's around you. When was the last time you truly looked at the sky? Not just glanced at it as you hurried by, but truly took it in. The colors, the shapes, the way the clouds move. In those moments of pause, we reconnect with the world around us, and we reconnect with ourselves. Presence isn't about doing less. It's about experiencing more. It's about truly feeling what you're experiencing, whether it's the sweetness of joy or the bitterness of pain, without rushing past it. I remember once sitting in a park on a busy afternoon. The world around me was noisy, full of people walking, cars passing by, and children playing. But I decided to sit quietly, close my eyes, and listen. At first, I could only hear the chaos. But then I started to notice the individual sounds, the rustling of the leaves, the chirping of birds, the distant hum of a conversation. It was like I had stepped out of the rush of life and into the present moment. In that simple act of slowing down, I felt a deep sense of peace. I was no longer consumed by what I had to do next. I was simply there, fully alive, fully present. This is the heart of real purpose. It's not about doing more or getting ahead. It's about living fully in each moment, experiencing life with all its ups and downs. When we are present, we stop chasing after happiness and start living it, right here and right now. Now this brings us to the next question. What does living with intention, presence, and awareness really look like in our daily lives? Let's explore that in the next part. What living this way looks like. We'll dive into what it means to live with clarity, purpose, and balance in every moment. Part 9. What living this way looks like. What does it mean to live with awareness and intention? What does someone look like who has embraced the principles of presence, balance, and living without attachment? It's easy to imagine these ideas as abstract concepts, but in reality, they are deeply practical and can be lived every day. Let's explore what living this way looks like in action. Someone who lives with awareness is fully engaged in each moment, no matter how small or routine. They are present with their tasks, whether they are washing dishes, having a conversation, or taking a walk. For example, when you're eating a meal, instead of zoning out or scrolling through your phone, you take the time to truly savor the flavors, the textures, the smells of the food. You are aware of each bite, mindful of the nourishment it brings. This simple practice of eating mindfully can transform something as ordinary as a meal into a moment of presence and gratitude. Living with intention also means making conscious choices. Instead of reacting to life with habitual responses driven by fear or desire, you pause and ask yourself, why am I doing this? What is my true intention here? For example, when you feel an urge to buy something new, you ask yourself whether it's driven by genuine need or by the desire for status or instant gratification. This awareness allows you to make choices that are in line with your values and goals, rather than following impulses that may lead to regret or dissatisfaction. Someone who lives with intention also approaches challenges with a sense of calm and resilience. When faced with a difficult situation, they don't rush to avoid it or become overwhelmed by it. Instead, they take a step back, breathe, and approach the challenge with clarity. They ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow through this experience? This mindset transforms obstacles into opportunities for personal growth and transformation. Another trait of someone living with awareness and intention is their ability to stay grounded in the present moment, even during moments of joy or sorrow. They don't chase after happiness or try to push away pain. Instead, they experience each moment fully, whether it's the joy of a celebration or the sorrow of a loss. They understand that both joy and pain are part of life's natural flow, and they embrace them both without resistance. For instance, when you experience a moment of happiness, you don't cling to it, trying to make it last forever. Instead, you allow it to come and go, knowing that it's part of life's ever-changing rhythm. So how can you incorporate these principles into your own life? Here are a few practical tips. 1. Start with mindfulness. Take a few minutes each day to focus on your breath, your surroundings, or the sensations in your body. Use this time to ground yourself in the present moment and gradually extend this awareness to everyday activities. 2. Make conscious choices. Before making decisions, big or small, take a moment to ask yourself, what is my intention here? This practice helps you move through life with more purpose and clarity. 3. Embrace challenges as opportunities. When faced with difficulties, don't react with fear or frustration. Instead, take a deep breath and view the challenge as a chance to learn and grow. 4. Practice gratitude. Take time each day to reflect on what you're grateful for, no matter how small. This helps you stay connected to the present and appreciate the richness of life. 5. Let go of attachment, whether it's a person, a possession, or an experience. Practice letting go of the need to hold on to things. Understand that everything is impermanent and find peace in the flow of life. Living with awareness and intention doesn't mean living a perfect life or never experiencing challenges. It means living fully with presence and purpose, embracing each moment as it comes. This way of living brings a sense of freedom, peace, and connection to the present. As we conclude this journey, let's reflect on the deeper truths we've explored together. This path is not about chasing after external accomplishments, but about being fully alive, present, and aware in every moment. And with that, we arrive at the final part of our exploration: conclusion. Let's wrap up the key insights and embrace the wisdom of living intentionally. Conclusion. As we reach the end of this journey together, let's take a moment to reflect on the key lessons we've explored. Life is not about conquering or accumulating achievements. It's about living fully, with presence and awareness in each moment. We've learned that the real purpose of life isn't found in the future or the past. It's in how we experience each moment right now. Whether in joy or pain, happiness or sorrow, life is about fully embracing whatever comes our way. We've also discovered the importance of awareness. When we are present, we can make choices from a place of clarity. Instead of being driven by fear or desire, we can live with intention. By living mindfully, we cultivate a deeper sense of peace and purpose. In the end, the purpose of life isn't to escape suffering or avoid discomfort. It's to experience each moment with gratitude, to accept the flow of life as it comes. We've seen that understanding life's impermanence allows us to let go of attachments. When we embrace change, we free ourselves from the cycle of grasping and avoiding. This is the key to finding inner peace. I want to take a moment to express my gratitude to you, the reader. Thank you for taking this journey with me. You've shown curiosity, a willingness to explore these ideas, and a desire to live more fully. I encourage you to continue practicing these lessons in your everyday life. Start by noticing each moment, living with intention, and embracing life as it comes. The results will not come overnight, but with patience and awareness, you will begin to feel the shift in your life. Have you noticed any changes in the way you experience life? What's one simple way you can begin living with more awareness today? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share them in the comments below. Your journey is just beginning, and I look forward to hearing about your experiences. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to Son.Mindfulness. Your support means the world to me. Stay tuned for more videos that will continue to guide you on your path of mindfulness and presence. May you always be healthy, peaceful, and happy. And may you find joy in every step of your journey. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon. Thank you.